Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to another Tumbler tutorial. In this video, we are going to make a super pink and girly tumbler design. We're going to use 2 of the sheets of vinyl from my Peachy palette as well as one of the glitters, and I am so obsessed with this tumbler. It is just like, if you like pink, this is it, baby. So I really hope that you enjoy it. If you do, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button down below and subscribe to my channel if you are not already. It really helps us out when you do that, so I do appreciate you. And let me know what you think of this design down below in the comments. Okay, I think that's it. Let's go. We are using a 30-ounce skinny straight tumbler from Craft Haven for this design, and our first step is to split our cup in half vertically. I'm going to take some blue painter's tape and just kind of eyeball from the bottom of my cup what the halfway point is, and then I am going to measure just to make sure that those 2 halves are even. Once I've done that and everything's placed right, I'm going to pull those pieces of tape up the side of the cup and try to place them as straight as I can. I always struggle with this. It's like really hard for me. But once I've got those placed straight, we can go in and apply our first section of pattern vinyl. For this side of the tumbler, we are going to use Malibu Daydream, which is one of the patterns that came in the June Peachy palette that I did with Peachy Olive Glitters. This is my favorite pattern from the box. I love it so much. I'm going to take this sheet and wrap it around this half of my cup and then make a mark on the side where I need to trim off all of that excess. I want to save as much of this vinyl as possible so I can use it for something else. I did mark off where to cut the excess off the top, but I decided to just leave that on there and have that kind of extra vinyl so I could pull it down under the bottom rim and kind of have a seamless finish down there. So once I've got my vinyl trimmed up, I'm going to place it on my tumbler, securing one end of the vinyl to my cup with a piece of painter's tape. I'm going to wrap it around to make sure everything is lined up right and the way I want it. And then I'm going to pull back about 1 inch of the backing, cut that away, and then secure this end of vinyl to my cup first so that I can ensure that everything stays in place as I apply the rest of the vinyl. I'm going to use my felt edged squeegee to push the vinyl onto the tumbler. Doing that will push the backing away as I go. And I found that this method, if you guys have watched my channel for a while, you know that this is how I apply all of my vinyl wraps to my cups. I find that it prevents bubbles. It really gets the vinyl on there nice and smooth, and I just don't have any issues when I use this method. So I'm just going to push the vinyl onto the cup, and then I'll go in with my craft knife and follow those tape lines on either side to cut off all of the excess vinyl. I have a lot of trouble with this. I can never cut in a straight line. So you'll see I kind of go over it and just try to get it as straight as possible. Once I've done that, I'm going to remove the excess, and then I'll go up to the top rim and pull that vinyl really tightly up over the top rim so that we can get a really nice clean finish up there. Now moving down to the bottom of the cup, we're going to take that excess vinyl that we left on our sheet, and I'm going to pull it really tightly around this bottom rim. I'm going to use my squeegee to push out as many of those wrinkles and things as I can. And once I've done that, I'm going to cut off the excess, like where it starts to crinkle. What I'm looking for here is just that flow from the side of the tumbler down to the bottom, and then we'll finish off that very bottom section towards the end of the video. All right, so that's our first half of our cup all wrapped. Now we're going to move on to the other side. Before I paint or glitter or anything, I'm going to mask off this vinyl so that we don't ruin it with our spray paint or glitter or anything like that. our split design on the glitter side, we're going to mix together Love You Bye with Silk because I want a really, really pale pink. So I'm going to essentially just kind of dilute Love You Bye a little bit with Silk so that when we go and we put the transparent pink lightning bolt sheet over it, those pink lightning bolts will still kind of pop off the pink background, but still keep everything very pink. So I'm gonna take mostly Love You Bye. I would say it's probably like not quite a 50-50 mix. I've got a little bit more of Love You Bye in there. And I've got this half of my cup painted with just ultra matte white spray paint. And we're gonna use that white base to further kind of lighten up the glitter color a little. All right, so I've got my epoxy mixed up here. And I'm going to just do a little bit of a finger dip in here. And I'm using the Flynn Sisters fast setting epoxy. So we are going to put this on, and then our cup will only need to dry for maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours before we seal it. And when you're impatient like me and you just wanna like get stuff done, fast set is the best thing ever. So I'm gonna spread this super, super thin. My cup is kind of cold, so the epoxy's not spreading as easily as it typically would, like if my cup was warmer, but that's okay, it's going on fine. After I put my epoxy on my cups, I like to just let them sit for a beat, just so they can kind of get it together a little bit before I apply the glitter. Not too long, maybe just like a minute or two. Okay, our epoxy has been sitting for a couple minutes, and now I'm gonna go in and just apply this glitter mixture to the cup. See, it's just like really, really subtle pink, super pretty. So the mix has been applied, and now I'm gonna go in with both Love You Bye and Silk on their own. I'm gonna put Love You Bye down first, and then we'll put Silk right over it. Just to make sure we get full coverage and we don't have to mix the two glitters together. We can just use them on their own and layer them now. So there it is with the Love You Bye added on top. And now we'll put Silk right on top of that. So there's our super pretty pastel pink iridescent glitter. So I'm gonna let this sit just for a few minutes, and then we'll remove all of this tape. After the epoxy layer was all dry, I went in to seal my glitter. I'm using my favorite sealer. This is a 50-50 mix of water and the Crystalac glitter glue. I just mix them together in the squeeze bottle and I apply it to the glitter, as you can see here. I'm going to let that dry for about 2 hours, and then I'm going to add 2 coats of the Flynn Sisters fast setting epoxy to my tumbler. Each coat was about 20 to 25 milliliters. After our 2 coats, we are pretty smooth here. I am going to sand down the top rim just a little tiny bit, and then we're going to go in with our transparent vinyl. So at this step, if your cup is not smooth and shiny, you'll want to do some sanding and then go in with another coat of epoxy before you apply your transparent vinyl. You do not want to apply clear vinyl or a clear decal or anything over a rough, dull, sanded surface, because when you do that and then you go put epoxy on top of it, that area that's covered by the vinyl or the decal will not shine back up once you put epoxy over it. So you want to make sure that the surface underneath is perfectly glossy and ready for that vinyl application. So I've got my Girl Power transparent vinyl sheet here, and we're going to attach it the same way we did the Malibu Daydream sheet. I'm going to take a piece of painter's tape, apply it to one side of the tumbler, and then we will smooth it down the same way we did before. So I'm going to take a little bit of the backing away, cut that off, and then we will use our felt edge squeegee to push the vinyl onto the cup. Now this transparent vinyl is very stretchy. It's really like malleable and flexible, and it's very forgiving. So it's really easy to work with. It's not like some other vinyls that are a little bit thicker, a little bit more rigid. This one is really flexible and super easy to get smooth on your cups. So once it's been applied, I'm going to cut away all of the excess. Luckily, I can see through it and I can see where to cut my straight line. That made it a whole lot easier for me to get everything even and right. And once I've done that, I'm going to go up again to the top rim, pull that vinyl really tightly up over the rim, and you'll see how flexible and easy it is to kind of mold around that rim. And I'll cut the excess off of there, and then we'll move down to cutting the excess off the bottom. For the bottom of the tumbler, because we have all of this clear excess vinyl here, I'm actually going to just cut it off before we get to that bottom area of the cup where it's going to turn into the bottom, if that makes sense. I don't want to worry about anything lifting or crinkling, so you can see I'm cutting where that clear vinyl is, and I'm just going to pull it up so that we don't have to worry about really bringing it down to that bottom part of the cup. I'm going to go through and just check for any air bubbles, cut a little slit if I find any, and just push that air out. I'm going to move right into adding my vinyl striping on either side of my cup. I'm using textured metallic vinyl here, so I'm not concerned with it showing any of the vinyl lines underneath that haven't been sealed with epoxy yet. If you feel more comfortable, you can absolutely do a coat of epoxy and then go in and add your vinyl lines. Whatever you're more comfortable with is totally fine. So I'm going to add these to each side of my cup, and I am going to wrap them around the bottom. Make sure that they line up straight, and I'm doing this before I finish the bottom of my cup, because I'm going to use these vinyl lines as a guide for trimming the bottom up and making everything look clean. So I've got this little piece of scrap vinyl that matches obviously our Malibu Daydream pattern, and I'm just going to place that right on the bottom of my cup, smooth it down, make sure that it's applied really well, and I'm going to use those textured metallic striping lines as a guide for trimming this off so that everything fits perfectly. I'm also going to trim off on the edges. My goal here is to just make this kind of look like a seamless pattern, like the whole sheet of vinyl just went all the way down to the bottom of the cup. I didn't pay attention to which way the waves were going, so on the bottom they go the opposite way of the side of the cup, but that's okay. It still looks really nice and finished. But once I've done that, I'm going to seal my vinyl with a coat of polyacrylic, and then we will add our final coats of epoxy. So once our final coat of epoxy is all cured, we are all done. I decided not to do a decal on this tumbler. I just wanted the vinyl and the glitter to shine on their own. So here is what the final tumbler looks like. I love this one so much, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you are not already, and I will see you in my next video. Okay, love you. Bye.